Hello, I'm James Ezimoha. Welcome to Africa News, where we bring you the latest updates from across the African continent. Let's see your headlines. United Nations blames both M23 rebels and Congolese forces for abuses in eastern Congo. Over 100 people killed in an overnight attack by unknown gunmen in Nigeria's Middle Belt region. Zimbabwe to ban export of raw lithium products from 2027 to boost local processing. Thank you for joining us. The United Nations has condemned the M23 rebels as well as Congolese government forces for committing serious human rights violations in eastern Congo. Officials say an investigation found that the warring sides had a total disregard for protections of civilians during and after the conflict. Our reporter Chris Ocharimga reports from Kinshasa.
The UN Human Rights Chief expressed deep concern about the security situation in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Volker Turk denounced cases of extrajudicial killings, abductions, torture, raids on hospitals, and the forced recruitment of civilians by the M23 rebels. The violations continued increasing after the rebels took control of the city of Goma and Bukavu earlier this year. The UN's fact-finding team also received reports of abductions, summary killings, and arbitrary arrests of alleged M23 collaborators by Congolese soldiers and their allies from the Wazalendo militia. Cases of sexual violence were also rampant in the conflict zones of eastern DRC. Nearly 40% of the victims were children. The UN Human Rights Council plans to set up an independent commission of inquiry to investigate abuses committed by all parties to the conflict. They hope to identify those responsible for serious violations and hold them accountable in order to end impunity in the east of the DRC. Chris Ochamringa for AnewZ in Kinshasa.
Still in the Democratic Republic of Congo, severe rains over the weekend have left at least 29 people dead in Kinshasa. Floodwaters and landslides destroyed homes in multiple neighborhoods, highlighting the city's ongoing battle with deadly seasonal flooding.
Kinshasa is again in mourning after torrential weekend rains killed at least 29 people, according to government officials. Flash floods and landslides ravaged homes, particularly in poorly drained neighborhoods. The Congolese capital, home to over 15 million people, suffers frequent flood disasters due to deforestation, urban sprawl, and weak infrastructure. Residents say they lost their homes, friends and family in the disaster.
You see this house with half remaining. My son tried to break the door to get people out, but he only managed to rescue one person and 4 remained under the mud. People came and recovered the last body. On this side, a man and his wife were trapped in the mud and they all died with their child. That's 2 cases, but where we are standing, they all died trapped under the mud. So in all 4 houses, only 2 boys survived and they are in the hospital.
It was around 4:20 in the morning and it was raining heavily. My wife woke me up and asked me to go out and see if water was overflowing. Just when I was about to open the door, I heard a sound. Boom! I went to look behind and saw that all these houses were submerged by mud, and I shouted to the neighbors, get out, people are dead here." We started trying to figure out how to get those who were trapped.
Urban planners and climate experts warn that without major infrastructure upgrades, the death toll will only rise with every storm.
Protests have continued in Nairobi, Kenya, over the death of Albert Ojwang, a teacher and blogger who died in custody. The incident has sparked outrage with calls for justice and fears of renewed extrajudicial violence by security forces. Authorities say investigations are ongoing, but demonstrators say little has changed.
Demonstrators flooded the streets of Nairobi after an autopsy revealed that Albert Ojwang, who died days after his arrest, had been assaulted, not suicidal as police initially claimed. The revelation has triggered widespread outrage, with activists linking it to a broader pattern of alleged police abuse. At least one man was shot dead during the protest, and another beaten by demonstrators in unclear circumstances. Protesters say the youth are united in resisting violence and are calling for accountability.
Today we are saying no looting today. They have already been arrested and there are no demonstrations today, and we have come to give back up today. We have said that people should not be looted today. We, the youth, have said, peace.
We are helping the government defend people's property. They are destroying property and stealing phones. Business cannot continue because they are stealing.
Our businesses must be protected. When Nairobi has burnt, the whole country has burnt. We, the citizens, must maintain law and order in Nairobi. Nairobi is our country and is where the economy of country is. We must protect Nairobi for our economy to be good. Power.
President Ruto has condemned Ojwang's death as unacceptable, but rights groups say that unless security reforms are enforced, public trust will continue to erode. Kenya's history of protest crackdowns and police killings has left many skeptical that accountability will follow.
More than 100 people were killed in a brutal overnight attack by unidentified gunmen in central Nigeria, according to reports. The violence, which left homes charred and families shattered, is the latest in a series of deadly raids in the country's Middle Belt region. Authorities have pledged action, but survivors remain in deep grief and fear.
The Yelwata community in Nigeria's Benue state is mourning after a massacre that claimed over 100 lives last weekend, according to Amnesty International. Located in the volatile Middle Belt, the area is frequently caught in violent clashes between herders and farmers, driven by land disputes and deep ethnic and religious divisions. Local farmers say they lost family members in the firebombing, barely escaping the horrific event.
It happened on Friday night, and next day in the morning I came around and discovered I lost 5 of my family members, my wife and 4 kids. I have 2 wives, and they were both in there, but my second wife lay close to the door with 2 of our kids. So when the building was set ablaze and bodies started exploding, the attackers left thinking everyone was dead, and that was when she came out and escaped with just 1 child, as the other perished together with my other wife and her children.
I woke up today wondering about my lost goods, and I haven't been able to eat, and I'm pregnant. I'm wondering how we will be able to cope and feed in the town where we all ran to. So I came back, and even if it's death, I don't mind. That's why I came back.
Military officers condemned the killings and called for joint efforts to stop insider-led attacks.
This is one too many killings. We're tired of innocent souls being killed, and we're here to ensure that we address such. From now, I'll be going to see my commanders, and we have to change our strategy. We're going to look inward and see how we can address it. But like we mentioned, we cannot do it alone without the community, without the state. We need everybody to be part of it. We understand that even before now, we used to have, even within us, people that compromise and give information, because going around, you see the way some of the burnings were made, they were targeted, and which means they had insiders.
More than 2.2 million people have been displaced by violence in Nigeria's Middle Belt since 2019. Rights groups say that unless the government ends impunity and improves community trust, such bloodshed will only continue.
Zimbabwe says it will ban the export of raw lithium products starting January 2027. Authorities say the move is aimed at driving industrial growth by encouraging in-country processing of the battery mineral. But analysts warn the country must address energy constraints to make the plan work.
Zimbabwe has announced it will stop exporting raw lithium concentrates by 2027 in a bid to shift toward domestic production of battery-grade materials like lithium sulfate. Zimbabwe is home to Africa's largest lithium deposits and among the world's top producers. Officials say the policy supports the country's beneficiation strategy, aimed at maximizing revenue and jobs by processing minerals locally rather than exporting them in raw form.
we are moving to a stage where we are upgrading our lithium production, where we to lithium sulfate, which among its other uses, is a direct input into battery making. So because of that capacity which is now in the country, the export of all lithium concentrates will be banned from January 2027.
Economists say the benefits could reach beyond mining, but only if infrastructure, especially energy, keeps pace.
Employment is probably secured, and also the downstream industries that may also awaken due to this policy move. You will be aware that beneficiation comes with a lot of work in terms of manufacturing and from end to end. But also government needs to support this with the necessary action, especially around energy. Obviously, it's a capital-intensive area for there to be these, machinery that then beneficiates. So government needs to complement that with tax benefits, tax holidays that incentivize investors, so there to be commercial value for them to be able to invest in these, machines.
As global demand for lithium surges, Zimbabwe is betting on value addition to strengthen its economy. But experts say turning raw minerals into industrial opportunity will require more than policy. It demands investment in power, incentives, and long-term planning.
Well, that's all we have today in Africa News. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to AnewZ.